Hello, let's do an off-the-cuff sum up check-in for the first 10 chapters of The Clvrngs by Anthony Trollope. So this is is it 1867 novel? It's actually a fairly early novel, and I have to say, right off the bat, it feels like sort of, in a way, a run-up to Phineas Finn in its opening chapters, especially with the last thing that they say about our hero, Harry Clavering. Harry Clavering, who at the beginning of the novel is jilted, is put off by Julia Rashardon, who decides to marry Lord Usherden or something like that. My names are all going to be screwed up because this is off the cuff, who is a kind of debauched lord but is rich, whereas he's fairly penniless. He's going to get like, I think it's 200 from his 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 reverend father, who's well, semi well off, but a reverend well off. Um, he's hurt by this. He'll never love again. She goes off. A year goes by. The debauched husband, it goes badly. There's lots of bad tales, but he drops dead because he's so debauched. But he, in the meantime, has gone to his new employer because he decides, I'm not going to become a priest or a reverend like my father. I'm going to go into engineering, and so he's with the Burton family, and he ends up getting engaged to uh, the what's her name? There's Julie, and there's not Fanny. The really cool youngest daughter of the Burton family, the only one who hasn't gotten married off by one of the partners, and but now she's come back. Now Julie has come back, and he's like, oh, I'm like, you can tell that he's really kind of struggling. Like, of course, I'm not in love with her, and I like the kind of the quiet, homely life, uh, and um, and he indeed Julie kind of puts him off a couple of times, like is like, oh yeah, you met me at this train station when I came back, but she doesn't really treat him as much as he wants to be treated. He wants to be adored, and so he but so he actually pushes his fiance. Oh, let's get married right away. But she's actually kind of a sensible, really cool girl, and actually the whole family is a really convivial, happy family. It's like it's one of those things of like, even if she wasn't that awesome, you'd want to marry into the family because the Burtons are really, really nice, really cool. Um, and they actually they see him and they think, well, he's got smarts, but he can be impetuous. He likes women. He gets on better with women than he does men. And indeed, he ends up spending a whole bunch of time with his fiance's mother, who maybe maybe he wouldn't spend as much time with her if she wasn't actually so good looking. So he's got an eye for the ladies, um, and and but he wants to get married right away. But she's like, no, you're a little too young still for that. You need a couple of years. It's like you should be like at least 28 before you marry, because then you'll actually appreciate having the quiet of marital life. And he's like, oh, it's like, how dare you kind of try to presume, what I need. And it's like, well, she's a sensible one. And she's also like, you, like, I'm maybe a bit lower class of thing, or like, I don't need the finer things in life. You, on the other hand, do. And he says, and he's saying, he's talking to, I think it's Mr. Burton about it. And he's saying like, oh, or know his father about it. And he said like, oh, I don't need the finer things. And the father's looking at like his gold wristwatch and the buttons on his jacket. It's like, yeah, sure you don't, kid. Um, but she prevails on him. It's like, no, let's take it easy. Let's take it easy. And At the same time, he gets called upon by this Pole who apparently, the story that Julie tells, is that in his debauched mood, her former living husband tried to get rid of her by matching her up with this Polish guy, Polish count, I think it is. Um, but she refused, so he got angry and put it forward that no, actually she was throwing herself at him, and she says it in a way that she just totally believes him. He Harry believes her, Julie, and so far there's nothing to show that she isn't. Um, and then there's we get a kind of exchange of letters saying like, oh, he wants to come and he needs to come and kind of settle up the account because there's some question of like whether she is going to actually inherit his estate. I'm assuming that there's some issues there. So maybe there's been a will left that's not favorable to her, or there's other family members who want to pop her out because of all the kind of the kerfuffle, and indeed her brother-in-law and that haven't really been very supportive of her. So maybe there's more to the story than we know. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll help. And we kind of end off with Trollope going like, look, you probably Harry is the kind of the hero of a story, but you probably don't have a very good impression of him at the moment. But to be fair, I'm this is in this kind of a novel. I've given you a lot more information, and he's probably not going to be seen in the best light. He's not like a very constant lover and all that. And it really does remind me of something like Phineas Finn, where I didn't like Phineas Finn for like the first novel. It's only when we get into Phineas Redux that I actually enjoyed him. But Trollope's very good at kind of turning you around on characters and getting you to see them in different lights. And indeed, in different situations, someone can really shine. So I think that's all I have to say about the Clavering right now. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I enjoyed how it started out strongly with this scene between Harry and Julie right at the beginning, and that was good. And I really like the Burtons. I do like I like well written, good characters. Um, uh, it's interesting that like another again with Trollope, you would think, oh, you have this debauched lord. You like another writer would totally have lots of scenes of the debauchery and him being the vile guy, but no, no, he dies off camera. I don't think we even see him on camera particularly that much at the beginning at all, other than he's a bore. Yeah, yeah. So I'm enjoying myself. I just wanted to get that out of the way so I can focus on my other books and just not overthink it too much this time. All right, more later.